Hi everybody, Countercoder here. Today I'm going to be going over github.com, more specifically repositories, and more specifically pull requests. Now, GitHub is something that I think every coder should know how to use. It makes your life so much easier if you're working with other people. This is because I know that I've run into issues in the past, especially in my intro classes, when no one really knows how to collaborate well yet using code. You barely know how to code, so you really don't know how to code with other people. That is very stressful. And that's because you're constantly having to figure out how to send changes to people without disrupting the original code, because you need everybody to sign off on it, make sure that it's correct, and you really don't want to mess up the groundwork that you've already laid down with your team members about what everybody has already decided they want the code to look like. So if you're suggesting a change, it can really throw off the entire rhythm of the code if you delete something or you add something and it just doesn't end up working out. You really need all hands on deck, and that's not always the case. If you're working in different areas, you can't meet face to face. It is very, very hard to collaborate using code with other people. So, what makes GitHub so great is that it allows people to make repositories. And repositories basically are threads in social media terms where you start with an original project of coding lines, and it shows you time-stamped versions of edits, whether they be edits adding code to the original or redacting it. And this makes it easier for everybody to follow along, see exactly what has been changed, add comments, delete certain parts if you don't agree with it, or add to it. And it really just makes it a lot easier to collaborate with different people without disrupting the original project, which is very, very important. Now, I'm going to be focusing on pull requests from now on. Now, a pull request, specifically in terms of a repository, lets you tell others about changes you've made in the repository in the original code. You are basically suggesting a change to a code, explaining your reasons on why it should change, and posting it to the thread connected to the original code to show others what you are suggesting. After your first pull request, others can add to it or ask questions, which is basically what I just said. But in simple terms, it's a dialogue about the piece of code. This way, it's easier to change code amongst colleagues or group members without copy pasting the code and sending it around where it's just going to get lost in the shuffle. And you don't want to end up with holes or missing pieces to your code, especially when you may have had ideas that would make it better or changed it up, made it more simpler, made it more accessible. It's really important for us as um, members of a group for a project to be able to communicate well so that we have all of our ideas on the table and that nothing gets lost. And if you're just emailing random lines of code and trying to get everybody to follow along, this can just make everything stressful and very, very hard to follow. Um, what really I like about it is it highlights what was changed in green or redacted in red. Very, very easy to understand. So there is no confusion. Everything is also time-stamped, so there is no confusion on what is the finished or newest product of the original code and what is the very first original project. And I want to emphasize the original project because maybe somewhere along the line you realize things just got out of hand. It's way too complicated. It was a lot easier to begin with. And you think a simple code is really the way to go, and that was your original project. You don't have to worry about looking for it in your files. Maybe nobody saved it, the original piece, because everybody thought, oh, well, it's not good enough. You have it right there, right in front of your face at the very top of this thread. Nothing's been changed to it. And that's really the best part about this. Um, to move on, I realized that a lot of people might just not know how to get started making one. So this here is my personal profile for GitHub. To make a repository, just go to the little plus sign, and this is the main page for creating one. Just basically give it a title. You can describe it so that maybe you want to explain exactly what the project is for. Like, oh, this is for a certain startup company. This is for an app. Describe it the way you would like. Public-private options. Initializing it with a README. This allows you to make a copy to your computer, which I really love this feature because if you don't want no, I don't like that. If you just want to clone what you designed yourself, instead of having copies of everybody's additions and redactions in your saved in your computer, you can just make these little clones so that you have what you made and you have your work saved. So we're just going to call this countercoder 1. I'm not going to add a description. And I'm not going to make a complete pull request, but I'm going to show you exactly what everything on this page means because it can get a little overwhelming. This is the first piece of code, the original code. Now, if you wanted to add to it, you would just go to this branch tab and make branch 1. And now I'm going to show you a little bit how to do it. So now you can edit the original page, but it's with this branch, which will create a brand new code, which is connected to the original. So it's a copy of the original, but with your additions or subtractions added to it. Clone or download, you can just clone it to your computer. If you want to save it, send it to somebody privately, or just have your work saved on your computer. And making the pull request, which is exactly what I explained earlier. So if you have a project coming up, whether it be in your career or in a class, I really recommend this website and this method of working with team members to create new codes. Makes everything a lot easier, and I will definitely be using it in my future projects. I'm very excited to use this. And that's everything. Please comment below if you have any questions, anything you want me to cover specifically, or if something confused you. I would love to clarify. I obviously can't talk forever, so some things are going to get swept under the rug, but if there's anything that needs to be specifically talked about, just let me know. Maybe I'll make a new video. Okay, it's kind of... All right, it was great lecturing for a bit. Subscribe, come back. See you later.